one turn. So much has happened in turn 7. When we look at we'll work our way, I think, from the British right, because otherwise I'll lose track of stuff. On the extreme right, the French cavalry that were threatening seem to be moving more towards the centre, which is a big relief to the British players, although they are still facing an infantry and artillery assault. But they seem to be holding their own there at the minute, and they've got their cavalry capable of putting in a flank attack. So not too bad for the British there. Moving down the line, bad news in the centre. La Haye-Sainte has fallen. There's a French tricolour flying over the roof. And nearby, the French are pushing along all on the ridgeline. Quite a few troops have fallen back. Yeah, the French have taken losses, but the assault's gone in and has been generally fairly successful. Carrying on down the flank, the British to the left looks fairly steady. Vandeleur has taken his light cavalry right around the flank, and they are in a very nice position to start hitting the French, and have effectively linked up with the Prussians, which means that there's a lot of pressure on that flank. So definitely quite a change from what we had last turn. So let's have a look around and see what we see.
So south with momentum.
There's an interesting bit. The town is actually under attack. The French are trying to storm it. I think it's going to be quite a nasty little fight there.
There's going to be a point.
So there's the cavalry that the British right flank was really worried about, all heading away towards the centre, possibly forgetting that there is a large Allied cavalry force that could intervene. You probably noticed that Hougoumont hasn't really changed since the setup video. That's because we're short a couple of players, and it was decided that that was the bit that we would just leave unplayed. It's basically just leaving everything as is. It may have to change, however, because when we look from the French to the left of Hougoumont, let's see what we see. That's quite a big cavalry force capable of pushing down, so we may have to do something about that. Let's move up more towards the centre. You see Roy's infantry moving forward. They're taking quite a few hits. Some of them are having to rally, and the artillery fire is definitely wearing them down. So let's go off and look at the key part, the centre of the ridge.
Yeah.
And that's on your primary unit?
Yeah.
Keep on routing, keep on routing, keep on routing.
Well, that's interesting. We actually have a farmhouse there, the French trying to break in. That's still contested. And you can see here Vivian's cavalry, so Evangelo's cavalry coming round the flank. Definitely been another very interesting turn. More and more fighting is becoming urban. That's going to be a slow and painful process. But the only one actually that didn't seem actually to be contested was Passoir. Players seem to have gone around the sides of that. Well, we'll see what happens on the next turn.